Hello everyone, welcome back to Arpita Sharma classes. I am Arpita Sharma, your educator, and today we are going to start decoding the Hindu newspaper for 5th of August 2022. So today we are going to start analyzing the editorials first because आज के newspaper में ना the articles are not very important, only one or two articles are there from the perspective of UPSC. So we are covering the editorials also. वैसे तो editorials you have to cover yourself, but because there were not much articles to cover from the newspaper, so I thought why not cover the editorials as well. So this first editorial is SOP or welfare debate. This is very important editorial. Basically it talks about the freebies that we discussed yesterday. Okay, so let's get started. शुरू करते हैं आज का lecture. This is on page number 10. It is very relevant for not just GS paper 2 but also for your ethics paper and essay paper. ठीक है, so please remember the concept of freebies and please watch this lecture very carefully. Now we know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi few weeks back he talked about the Revdi culture. ठीक है, it's kind of a dessert which is given to people. Sometimes desserts are given to people to lure them, right? So here Revdi culture basically are when the votes are sought by promising freebies, when something for free is given to ask for the votes of the people. And here Supreme Court has said that the Finance Commission can take charge to look into the matter of the freebies. Okay, because freebies basically result into waste of resources, and they also place burden and stress on the fiscal resources of the state. What is the example of freebies? Free distribution of television sets, laptops, gold chains, money, alcohol, etc. during the election time to lure the voters to vote for a specific party. That basically is an example of freebies. And the Supreme Court also noticed this, that the around 1 lakh rupees 1 lakh crore rupees basically the revenue was foregone annually. हर साल 1 लाख करोड़ का revenue खर्च हो जाता है freebie distribution में. ठीक है, and then there are major tax incentives which are given during the election period, and those tax incentives are also covered in the freebies only. The corporate tax rates goes down when the freebies are distributed during the election season. The effective tax rate gets declined. What is effective tax rate? That they can ask you in your preliminary examination also. It is the tax to profit ratio, what profit you are earning, and on that profit how much tax you are paying. That is the effective tax ratio. Okay, so companies are earning more profit but they are distributing freebies, and here the taxes that they are paying is less because they are giving tax incentives also, getting the tax incentives also, so tax collection reduces. ठीक है, क्योंकि टैक्स इंसेंटिव सबको मिल रहे हैं वोट कलेक्ट करने के चक्कर में, तो टैक्स कलेक्शन यहाँ पर इम्पैक्ट होता है. सो दीज आर द नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट्स ऑफ freebies that have been highlighted in this editorial and also by Supreme Court. Even N.K. Singh sir, who is the chairperson of 15th Finance Commission, he also generated a warning. What warning? Warning how the freebies is basically a path towards fiscal disaster. कैसे freebies से financial resources hurt होते हैं और fiscal disaster create होता है. Even Article 282 was mentioned. Now when we talk about freebies, there is a slight, you can say, hint of freebies in Constitution also. Article 282, union or a state may make any grants for any public purpose, but this article currently has been misused. वैसे तो ये point out किया गया, but it was just for the welfare of the marginalized communities, welfare of the people, the citizens, the vulnerable communities, but it has been you can say misused these days during the election procedure, election phase by the political parties. Okay, now if the question comes that how freebies can destroy the economic growth, how freebies can disturb the economic growth, how will you answer it? This answer is simple. Basically when you switch to freebies, when the political parties give freebies blatantly to the society during the you can say election period, it distorts the expenditure priorities of the government. It decreases the quality and competitiveness of the manufacturing sector also, because then they get detracted from the competitive infrastructure. Basically everything you are providing for free, the incentives you are providing, so the element of competitiveness it reduces. Okay, and when the element of competitiveness reduces, the economic sector gets destroyed, or you can say damaged particularly. And when you provide free power, water, free water, without any water bill, आप पानी लोगों को provide कर रहे हो, that also you can say distracts the outlays, the funds that have been kept for the sustainable growth, for environmental growth and sustainable growth. Okay, so these are the different points which you can write or mention in your answer writing, that how freebies can hamper the economic growth. So what can be the conclusion? In this particular editorial, the article says that we need to differentiate between merit goods and public goods concept. Now this concept is very important for your public administration optional also, if you are choosing this optional. This topic is very important for GS paper 3 economics के लिए भी बहुत important है. If you have economics optional, then also this topic is very important, and for prelims also this topic is very important. So let's study about the merit goods and the public goods. Now here, what is merit goods? A commodity or service like education that is regarded by society or government as deserving public finance. A kind of commodity or kind of service, for example, education is a part of merit good. Okay, remember this example. Education is a part of merit good which is regarded by the society or the government as deserving the public finance. Such kind of service or commodity which deserves public finance, that is merit good. उसको हम बोलते हैं merit good. Okay, so this is education is the example. Now what are demerit good? Example can be alcohol. Alcohol is a demerit good. Drugs are example of demerit good. People underestimate the cost, okay, that these demerit goods have on the society, on the health of a person, on the family members of a person. Okay, point clear हो गया. Now we are going to create a differentiation chart between merit good and public good. Take out your pen and paper. We are going to create a chart highlighting the difference between merit good and public good. It is going to help you a lot in your answer writing. So the first point of difference between a merit good and a public good is the goods which are considered to be socially desirable. The goods which are considered to be socially desirable, that means a society desires these goods, but which are likely to be underproduced and underconsumed. The production and the consumption is less. Those are merit goods, but they are socially desirable. Second, public good, commodities or services that are made available to all members of society for free through public taxation. So the money which is being spent on providing the public goods, that is coming through the public taxation, the taxes which are being collected from the public. Now second point of difference, it is that the merit goods are available only for certain sections of the society. कुछ ही sections है society के जो इसको avail कर पाते हैं. And the public goods are available to all the members and sections of the society. Merit goods are excludable, you can exclude them, but public goods you cannot exclude them from your policies. आप अपने policy से इसको exclude नहीं कर सकते. Now merit goods are rivalrous. Why? Because consumption of good by one reduces their availability to others. If one consumes it, the availability of the same good reduces for the other. But the public goods are non-rivalrous, since consumption of the good by one does not reduce its availability to others because it is made available to everyone. Okay, then the merit goods are provided by both the state sector and private sector, and the public goods are provided only by the state sector. Now let us talk about the examples of merit goods. Example will be healthcare. ठीक है, पहला example हो जाएगा healthcare इसका merit good का. Second can be housing. Third can be education. Education will also be an example of merit good. These are the examples of merit good. And what can be the examples of public good? It can be the street lights. ठीक है, जो आपकी street lights लगती हैं वो आपका public good हो गया. ठीक है, then roads. ठीक है, highways, flyovers, roads, national defense. National defense is also an example of public good. Please write it down. National defense is also an example of public good. So this is how, if they ask you a question about differentiation between merit good and public good, even in interview or ethics paper or essay paper, they talk about these two types of goods, or GS paper 3 or paper 2 or public administration optional or आपका economics optional, then you can mention these points. Please make a note of these points in your register. Now there is a term in this article which highlights about populism. यहाँ पर इस आर्टिकल में एक टर्म है जो पॉपुलिज्म की बात करता है. So what do you mean by populism? This over here, यहाँ पर आप देखोगे, ठीक है, unregulated populism which may lead to an economic disaster. So you have to carefully read these terms. आपको बहुत carefully इन terms को read करना पड़ेगा, तभी आपसे अगर question पूछा जाए तो आप आंसर दे पाओगे. So what exactly is populism? Populism basically is a political approach. It's a part of political philosophy that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns are disregarded by elite groups. जो established creamy layers हैं, elite groups हैं या बड़े बड़े ministers हैं, अगर आपको लगता है वो आपके point of view को, desires को, wishes को ignore कर रहे हैं, आपके welfare को ignore कर रहे हैं, तो जब आप अपनी अपील को सामने रखते हो, इकट्ठा होते हो, सामने आते हो, उसे populism बोलते हैं. It's a range of political philosophies that emphasize the idea of the people and against the privileged elites. Support, basically for populist politicians or policies, they also rise in every nation. Okay, so it's a quality of appealing, or you can say being aimed at ordinary people, that is populism. So in simple terms you can say that it is a range of political stances that emphasize the idea of the people and often juxtapose this group against the elite. Please write it down. जो मैं नरेट कर रही हूँ उसको प्लीज लिख लीजिएगा. ओके, सो हियर द पॉपुलिस्ट, देयर आर बोथ गुड एंड बैड साइड्स टू एनीथिंग. कोई भी चीज आप पढ़ो उसकी अच्छी और बुरी साइड दोनों होती है. सो इफ इन पॉपुलिज्म यू से दैट यस पीपल आर अपीलिंग दैट देयर विशेस शुड बी फुलफिल्ड और देयर वेलफेयर शुड बी टेकन केयर ऑफ, बट देयर आर नेगेटिव साइड्स ऑल्सो ऑफ पॉपुलिज्म. द पॉपुलिस्ट ऑफन एक्सप्लॉइट द लूप होल्स एंड इश्यूज इन ऑर्डर टू पोलराइज द सोसाइटी ऑल्सो. ठीक है, यहाँ पर क्या होता है, सोसाइटी को पोलराइज करने की भी कोशिश की जाती है, सोसाइटी को डेमोक्रेसी से दूर ले जाने की भी कभी कभी कोशिश की जाती है पॉपुलिज्म या पॉपुलिस्ट आइडियाज के थ्रू. व्हाट इज पोलराइज्ड मींस? पोलराइज्ड का मतलब क्या होता है? इट मींस रिस्ट्रिक्ट द वाइब्रेशंस ऑफ और होली और पार्शियली टू वन डायरेक्शन. किसी भी चीज की वाइब्रेशन या डायरेक्शन को एक ही तरफ मोड़ देना, ले जाना, बाकी सारे इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यूज को इग्नोर कर देना, वो पोलराइजेशन हो जाता है. When you ignore all the other important issues and you are directing all the energy towards one direction only. For example, if you are UPSC aspirant, okay, just a simple layman example, UPSC aspirant, you are studying for UPSC, somebody comes and tries to bring you down or taunt you, demoralize you, demotivate you. Now you leave everything aside, your polity preparation, everything aside, and you'll just go on hating that one person. You just go on gossiping about that one person. Okay, तो उसको हम एक तरीके से एग्जाम्पल बोलते हैं being polarized. You are just not thinking about anything else, just moving in one particular direction. आप बाकी सारी important चीजों को इग्नोर कर रहे हो. ओके, सो दैट पोलराइजेशन इज यूज्ड व्हेन देयर आर रिलीजियस डिफरेंसेस और इलेक्शंस जीतने के लिए पार्टी समटाइम्स यूज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पोलराइजेशन आल्सो. सो व्हेन इंपॉर्टेंट कंसर्न्स ऑफ पीपल आर नॉट एड्रेस्ड बाय द एलीट्स, the populist movements form to challenge the establishment. जो established government है उनको challenge करने के लिए populist movements शुरू हो जाते हैं जब लोगों की basic needs जो established government है वो fulfill नहीं करती. Now they can also ask you a question in GS paper 2 and GS आपका यहाँ पर essay का paper and your ethics paper. ठीक है, these papers can form this particular question. Populism is a threat to democratic institutions and unity of India. Explain. A whole question can be formed in this particular paragraph. Populism एक तरीके से democratic institutions के ऊपर threat है, ठीक है, खतरा है, इसको आपको explain करना है. तो how will you explain? First point will be that populism is against the representative institutions. We know that we go for voting in the elections. Election में हम क्या करते हैं? वोट करने जाते हैं. We elect our representatives to rule on our behalf. Okay, so populism means elected government को ही आप question करने बैठ गए हो यहाँ पर. You are trying to overthrow the elected government by saying that they have not fulfilled any of your wish or desires. You are just there to incite everyone against that one elected elite group or elected group. So populism often turn against the representative democracy which is mentioned in our constitution. Second, populist movements often led by charismatic leaders, so that results into a cult formation, and sometimes the cult they ignore the basic mission or the basic aim of their movement. कभी कभी क्या होता है, हम अंध भक्ति करने लगते हैं. यहाँ पर अंध भक्ति, blind faith, blind devotion to one particular person in a populist movement. It often results in basically cult movement, formation of the cults. Okay, and then when these leaders come to power, they turn authoritarian, क्योंकि यहाँ पर क्या इन्हें आदत हो गई है कि कल्ट लीडर बनने की, तो जब वो पावर में आ जाते हैं रिप्रेजेंटेटिव डेमोक्रेसी को हटा के, तो वो अथॉरिटेरियन हो जाते हैं. दैट इज ऑल्सो डेट्रीमेंटल फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ अ नेशन. Third, legitimacy of opponent is rejected, because here one movement, one organization is attacking the elite. They are thinking that their views, their opinion, their perspective is correct, everything else is wrong. Polarization is happening, and because of polarization what will happen, they will reject any kind of opposition, so it would render the opposition as weak. तो हमारा opposition यहाँ पर weak हो जाता है इस तरीके की movement में. And we know in a democracy, a healthy democracy is one there is a strong opposition also, where there is a voice given to the opposition party as well. That is a healthy and strong democracy. And populists often claim absolute moral superiority, and that is why it results into a culture of reason, weakened debates and weakened you can say opposition parties. Then it can result into a fourth point can be high risk of corruption and abuse of power because of authoritarian you can say ability of a person. Then populist nationalism is divisive and affects unity of nation. Yes, when you are just targeting one person or one elite group and you are ignoring everything else, यहाँ पर क्या होता है, unity अखंडता जो है वो nation की वो खराब हो जाती है. Okay, so it results into hostile you can say environment in a particular nation, and that is why it is a threat to democratic institutions. So these were the important points. I hope आपको समझ आए होंगे इस टॉपिक के ऊपर अच्छे से. Now you are in a position to write it down. What will you do after the lecture ends? Please summarize this concept of populism in your own words. Do not look at the PDF or the lecture, and summarize it. Whatever you have understood, write it down on a piece of paper. Now another important editorial, remembering an expulsion remaking opportunity. Now India and Uganda's relationship has been since 60s, but in this article the basically the president of Uganda is talking about the history of India and Uganda's relationship. Now in this article they have mentioned about Uganda's dictator Idi Amin. He was one of the most dangerous kind of person in Uganda's history. He was a dictator, and he almost destroyed Uganda's relation with the Asian countries, because he killed millions of innocent people, specifically those belonging to Asian countries, Pakistan, then India. तो एशियन कंट्रीज से जितने भी लोग बिलोंग करते थे जो युगांडा में थे, उनके साथ इन्होंने काफी भद्दा व्यवहार किया था. It is said that he was a kind of maniac. He did not just kill his enemies, but he treated their dead bodies inhumanly. Some of the reports have been published which says that he used to store the dead bodies of his enemies after killing them, after murdering them, in his refrigerator, and later on afterwards he used to eat them also. So this kind of cruelty that he showed continued during the 8 years of his rule. He basically conducted a human massacre. Around 6 lakh people were killed during his time period, and that is why the relationship of Uganda with other Asian countries was not good during his time period. इनके time period में जितना भी relationship establish हुआ था युगांडा का country के साथ, बाकी countries के साथ, तो वो relationship जो था basically distort हो गया था इनके ruling period में. Now here this particular editorial also talks about India's engagement with Uganda. Do you know that India's engagement with Uganda takes place through 3 levels? 3 levels के थ्रू इंडिया और युगांडा एक दूसरे के साथ engagement रखते हैं, communicate करते हैं. They basically mingle with each other, expand their relationship. How? Through these 3 levels. What are these levels? First, through the African Union platform. Second, through the regional economic communities. And third, through at the bilateral level. Bilateral means one-on-one, यानी कि जो आपका both sided diplomatic relations होते हैं उसके थ्रू भी इंडिया युगांडा के साथ engagement रखता है. And India established the diplomatic presence in Uganda in 1965. However, during Idi Amin's rule, this relationship was also in turmoil, but after his time period, this relationship was back to normal during the 80s. And even India's freedom struggle inspired Ugandan activists to fight against the colonialism. because they were fighting against Britishers. They achieved their freedom in 1962 and they were heavily inspired by India's freedom struggle as well. Now here we also talk about in this particular editorial the East African community. This is important for prelims because a lot of times questions have been asked in UPSC on the East African community. Now let's first understand who are the members of the East African community. Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi and South Sudan are the members of this East African community. And another important point is that it was established in the year 2000 after the EAC treaty was signed in 1999. And the importance of this community is basically to make sure that these particular member countries can trade with each other without any disruption, okay, so that they can enhance their regional infrastructure, they can connect with their common market without any obstacle, and they can also protect the region from international economic breakdown. Agar internationally there is economic breakdown, these countries together can protect their economic health. Okay, so these are the significance of East African community. मतलब एक तरीके से community है जहां ये एक दूसरे की रक्षा करते हैं, एक दूसरे के साथ ट्रेड करते हैं, एक दूसरे का व्यापार बढ़ाते हैं, एक दूसरे की इज्जत करते हैं. But the EAC collapsed. Why? Because Kenya started demanding more seats than Tanzania and Uganda in the decision making bodies. There were disagreements with Ugandan dictator Idi Amin also. यहाँ पर हमने Idi Amin के बारे में पढ़ा था. तो इनकी वजह से भी काफी ट्रेड बेस्ड distractions हुए थे, जिस वजह से EAC एक तरीके से कोलैप्स होना शुरू हो गया था. Then Kenya had another economic system, capitalism. Tanzania followed socialism. So there was difference of opinion as well. Okay, point clear हो गया. Now remember that Ethiopia is not a member of EAC because it comes under a region named Horn of Africa, जिसमें जिबाउटी भी आता है ना, तो इसलिए इथियोपिया जो है EAC का मेंबर नहीं है. Now another important article is Rajya Sabha passes family courts bill amid protest over ED actions. Rajya Sabha basically passed the family courts bill amid disruptions over the enforcement directorate's actions against opposition MPs. So here the family courts amendment bill 2022 has been passed through a voice vote, and last month we discussed about the family courts. Last month ही हमने family courts के बारे में पढ़ा था, right? So family courts, basically this particular bill makes a provision to grant statutory power to the family courts, statutory cover or status to the family courts which have been established in Himachal Pradesh and Nagaland. हिमाचल प्रदेश और नागालैंड में जो फैमिली कोर्ट स्टैब्लिश कर रखे थे ना काफी सालों से, उनको स्टैट्यूटरी बैकिंग थी ही नहीं. अब ये स्टैट्यूटरी कवर इनको दिया गया है. एंड देयर हैव बीन सर्टेन अमेंडमेंट्स व्हिच हैव बीन मेड. फॉर एग्जांपल सबसेक्शन 3 ऑफ सेक्शन 1 हैज बीन इंसर्टेड टू प्रोवाइड फॉर एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ फैमिली कोर्ट्स इन हिमाचल प्रदेश एंड नागालैंड, so that the statutory backing will be given to them. Then section 3A has been inserted to retrospectively validate all actions under the act taken by governments of Himachal Pradesh and Nagaland. अभी तक 2008 और 19 से इन्होंने जो भी actions लिए हैं, decision लिए हैं, उनको validate करने के लिए section 3A भी add किया गया है इस particular bill ने. ठीक है, so the establishment of family courts in both Himachal Pradesh and Nagaland will be retrospectively valid from these dates. These are the dates over here. Alright, point clear हो गया. Family courts के बारे में already we have studied in the lecture which was covered in the month of June. Okay, आप एक बार इसको देख सकते हैं. Now here let us answer this question. With reference to family courts, consider the following statements. They deal with disputes related to marriage and other family issues. Second, the state government may, with the concurrence of High Court, appoint one or more persons to be the judge or judges of a family court. So which option is correct over here? यहाँ पर आप मुझे बताएंगे कि कौन सा ऑप्शन इसके अंदर आपका करेक्ट है. You have 10 seconds time to answer the question. All right, so the correct answer over here is yes, it is C. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct. Coming on to the next question, which of the following are signs of impending recession? इसमें से कौन से recession के signs हैं, आने वाले recession के signs हैं? So here the correct answer would be, यहाँ पर आपका correct answer क्या होगा, जल्दी से बताओ. Very good. It is both A and B. Steady rise in job losses and inverted yield curve. Both are the signs of coming recession, or you can say impending recession. Now you must be wondering, ma'am, we do not know the answer. Basically we do not understand the meaning of this. So see, we are going to understand the meaning. देखो, the clearest signal that a recession is coming, as per the economist, would be that there would be steady rise of job losses. धीरे धीरे ना losses जॉब लोगों के खत्म होने लगेंगे. ठीक है. that would be result of basically coming recession. You can say increase in unemployment. Okay, point clear ho gaya. And many economists also monitor the changes in the interest payments, or interest payments के बजाय हम बोल सकते हैं the yields on different bonds, which would result in inverted yield curve. Okay, this occurs when the yield on a 10-year treasury falls below the yield on a short term treasury. 10 साल का जो ट्रेजरी बिल होता है, टी बिल होता है, उसका जो इनकम है वो 3 साल के ट्रेजरी बिल से भी कम हो जाए ना, तो समझ लो इन्वर्टेड यील्ड कर्व है, यानी कि रिसेशन आने वाला है. Okay, point clear? So inverted yield curve generally means that investors are foreseeing a recession that are compelling the Fed to cut the rates. Okay, next question, which of the following rivers of Africa drains into Mediterranean Sea? So correct answer over here is yes, it is Nile river. Very easy question. So this was your today's the Hindu newspaper analysis. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. अगर आपको ये lecture अच्छा लगा तो please let me know in the comment section also. The PDF will be shared on my Telegram channel. The link of the Telegram channel is given below in the description box.